recognized symbol of excellence for your entertainment.
You see nothingness.
Welcome to Machino Music, the show that puts the music in Machino Music, with your host, me, Brett Strong. Today at Machino Music, we'll be talking all about forgotten gems, those albums you just completely forgot about. You'll go, oh yeah, I forgot. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, forgotten albums, some forgotten gems. These are some albums that maybe you once knew about and you completely forgot about, or you never knew about at all, and they're just forgotten because you didn't know they existed. Some of these we have talked about before, and I just want to talk about them again because why not? But I want to do this because, I just realized I have a bunch of albums that are really good that I'm never going to get a chance to talk about, and why not do a show where I get to talk about them? And of course, we're in the studio. I think we're going to be in the studio a lot more now. It was a crazy summer, as I said numerous times over the summer, and quite a few episodes. I think things are pretty cool now, so I can be in the studio. Back in my chair. It feels good to be in the studio. Yeah. So I think things are cooled down a bit. Started flushing my toilet with snow. Yeah, it just keeps the tank full. Went looking for my records, found nothing but cans and jars, but yeah. Realize it's still 25 after 1 in the morning while I'm filming this, but I'm in the studio. It's different now. I can do a show at like an ungodly hour and be comfortable in the studio. So anyway, let's get into this. Let's get into some forgotten albums. And I want to start with this one. Stephen Bishop, Careless. Who remembers Stephen Bishop? I don't think anybody remembers Stephen Bishop. He was, I first became aware of him on Saturday Night Live. It was the episode hosted by Art Garfunkel when he was trying to be an actor. So he hosted Saturday Night Live and he brought on a special guest, and that was Stephen Bishop, who performed a song On and On, which is his biggest hit. We still hear it on the radio today. So yeah, that was his biggest hit, and there was a whole set. It was back when Saturday Night Live, they do it a lot more now, but they were starting to do kind of like these sets, and they had this whole like beach setup. It was really cool. Down in Jamaica they weren't doing a lot of that stuff back then, so they gave him a big elaborate set, and also he appeared in the sketch. It was like a backstage at a Kiss concert, and Stephen Bishop showed up.
I'm Stephen Bishop. Just got into town, thought I'd catch a show.
Are you on the guest list?
No. I have a hit song, On and On. Down in Jamaica, Yeah? Did you write that song? Yeah. I hate it. Now get out of here.
And actually, he has some history with John Belushi. Stephen Bishop was also in Animal House. He was the guy playing the guitar, and then John Belushi's character, Bluto Blutarsky, comes and smashes the guitar. I give... Yeah. And also, he was in a couple of the other John Landis movies. He was the guy in the Kentucky Fried Movie, the Show Me Your Nuts guy.
Show me your nuts.
Oh, how you doing? They're from USA.
And he was also in the Blues Brothers. He was this guy.
They broke my watch.
Yeah. So he kind of in some comedy movies that were associated with Saturday Night Live and sort of like the bizarro 70s comedy scene kind of going on, the new comedy. And he had a sense of humor in his music. On and On's kind of got a sense of humor to it. And just a great songwriter. And you can see by this, he's, doesn't take himself too seriously. Here he is just, stretched out. He's wearing running shoes with a suit. I mean, that's a relaxed guy there. That's a funny guy. Who does that? Also, another great song on here, Save It for a Rainy Day. So good. I mean, I sometimes hear that song in like grocery stores, in department stores. I've heard that song. It's just one of those songs. It's music, but it's good music. Yeah, it's a really good tune. Same Old Tears, Rock and Roll Slave, Madge was a hit. Also, probably his biggest hit was the song It Might Be You, but he didn't write that song. That was for the movie Tootsie. That was the love theme from Tootsie. That was a big spit I just did right there. But yeah, really cool. I would say if you want something different, definitely check out Stephen Bishop. A lot of great session players on this. Yeah, Stephen Bishop, Careless. We've talked about this, but I mentioned it because it's just kind of a forgotten album. Christina Aguilera, Lotus. I went back and listened. I did my Christina Aguilera album ranking. And, I ranked this one where I ranked it. It was kind of in the middle. I almost put this as my number one, actually. I really dig this album. I really, really like this album. It's one I go back to. I listened to it again recently, playing with my little Christina Aguilera cat. My little pussycat. We were playing, and we had the music on. And yeah, I really like Army of One, great tune, Red Hot Kind of Love, Make the World Move featuring CeeLo Green. We don't talk about CeeLo Green anymore. Just completely dropped off the face of the earth. Your Body, so good. And actually, this is the parental advisory explicit content, but I believe this version has the censored line. It's not the line that says, that's not on here. It's they've covered it up. There's a crack in this. Wow, I forget there's a big crack. But Christina looks great. Yeah, so Christina Aguilera, Lotus. It's kind of a forgotten album, at least one that, I don't think a lot of people go back to. But I tend to go back to a lot when I want to listen to some Christina Aguilera. How about James Taylor? I'm going to go with Flag. This is a great forgotten James Taylor album. A lot of great James Taylor albums. I'm going to do a full James Taylor show at some point. I got to talk about James Taylor one of these days.
One of these days!
Yeah, but I'm talking about this. I sometimes say this is my favorite James Taylor album. I mean, Johnny Comes Back is a great song. Again, another one I learned about through Saturday Night Live, and he performed Johnny Comes Back. Really cool. Always really liked that song. I believe it's about a heroin addiction, but, man, is it catchy. He also did a great cover of Day Tripper. I mean, that's the thing about James Taylor. He's a great stylist. He's got his thing, but he can do these great interpretations of songs. And his cover of Day Tripper is, I think, one of the best Beatles covers anybody's ever done, because he doesn't base it around the riff, because it's got that amazing riff. And a lot of people, when they cover Day Tripper, of course, are going to base it around that riff. He just kind of, let's forget about the riff and just focus on the melody. Let's just focus on the great song that this is, and just sort of the vibe and the groove and everything. And yeah, just an amazing, amazing cover. Mill Worker's another great song. Yeah, I always really dug this. Yeah. James Taylor, Flag. including the favorites Up on the Roof, Rainy Day Man. Those are great songs as well. Yeah, James Taylor. How about George Harrison and 33 1/3? Got myself a copy of this. I did my George Harrison album ranking. This was my number one. I actually was able to find myself a copy. I mean, All Things Must Pass would have been too obvious to be my favorite George Harrison album, so I had to go with, this has always been my favorite, mainly because of the song Cracker Box Palace, which is such an underrated song, such a funny tune. I love the music video.
Welcome you to Cracker Box Palace.
Directed by Eric Idle. Again, I saw it on Saturday Night Live. It's just really cool. Yeah, just love Cracker Box Palace. Some other great songs on here. This song, which is all about the lawsuit of My Sweet Lord sounding too much like He's So Fine by the Chiffons. So we had fun with that on this song. Beautiful Girl, See Yourself, It's What You Value, Learning How to Love You, Woman Don't You Cry For Me, Kicking It Off, so good. I mean, really, I would say not a sinker in the bowl on this album, because it's George Harrison. I mean, you can't really go wrong. My favorite Beatle. He looks cool with these sunglasses on. Yeah, dig it. George Harrison, 33 1/3. My nose is fluff's flying all over the place. Okay. Now, Mocos. Alright, how about Prince? This is not the debut Prince album, even though it is the self-titled Prince album. The first Prince album is actually really good too, called For You. But this one, I would say, this got some of the greatest guitar playing. I mean, talk about a forgotten album. Talk about an underappreciated, underrated album. Amazing guitar playing on here. I Want to Be Your Lover. Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad. Great guitar playing. But the song on here, the showstopper on here, is the song Bambi. I mean, that's a heavy metal song. That is a total heavy metal song. I played that on my radio show along with a bunch of heavy metal, so it fit in perfectly. Prince just, yeah. And he's playing every instrument on here. Like, you forget, like, when he, like, later on, like in the 80s, he had Prince and the Revolution. He did actually have a band. These early albums, he was playing all the music himself. He was playing everything himself. So it's just amazing. And he's only like 18 years old. Maybe it says something in here. What does it say? Doesn't say exactly, but yeah, he's young here. It's 1979. So he's just a kid, and he's mastered all these instruments, and it's absolutely amazing. Produced, arranged, composed, and performed by Prince. Yeah. There you go. Prince self-titled. Okay, how about Rick Ocasek, or Rick Ocasek? You got to say it properly. Rick Ocasek. I'm so used to saying Ocasek, but I gotta remember to say Ocasek. But yeah, Cars frontman Rick Ocasek and his album Nexterday. What is this? 2005. I remember getting this when it first came out, and wow! I mean, this is a great album. I went back to this and listened to it when, and I hadn't listened to it in a long time, when Rick Ocasek passed away, and just like fell back in love with this album. It's so good. Crackpot, great tune. Bottom Dollar, In a Little Bit, Don't Lose Me is great. I'm Thinking is a beautiful song. Just Heard About You. I mean, just a lot of great tunes on here. I mean, this is a Cars album, and Rick Ocasek had a lot of really good solo albums, but this one I think is just my absolute favorite, because it's 2005. There wasn't a whole lot I was into musically. There wasn't a whole lot going on, I would say, musically. I was not a big fan of the kind of that you know, like the power pop, I guess you would call it, the sort of pop punk that was going on. There were some I liked, but this kind of came along. It's power pop, you could call it. It's like sort of modern, like 2005 version of new wave. It still sounds like the Cars. It's Rick Ocasek, but yeah, it's great. The late great Rick Ocasek put out a classic in 2005. I believe this was his last ever solo album as well. But it's really cool. I dig this. Definitely check this one out. If you're a fan of the Cars and you kind of, you know, forgot about a lot of like the, you know, Rick Ocasek solo stuff. There's a couple great Benjamin Orr solo records as well. But this one I think is just a great forgotten gem that I think if you're into the Cars, I think you'll really dig. Okay. Oh, this next one I was going to dig out on my Ozzy Osbourne stuff show. Kind of couldn't find it, but here I found it. Kelly Osbourne, Shut Up. This is from 2002. Yeah, I remember getting this. It was like kind of a big deal, kind of the height of the Osbournes show, which I was never really huge into. There's a few episodes I thought were really, really funny. Ozzy trying to learn how to operate GPS. That was one of the funniest episodes. But I remember, like, Kelly Osbourne kind of for a while was a thing. And you know what? This is a great pop punk album. I just said I was never a big fan of kind of like the power pop and like kind of the pop punk that was going on at the time, but I really dug this album. I thought it was pretty good. This kind of worked for her. I mean, some great tunes on here. Cool Head is awesome. Right Here is good. The title track, Shut Up, which, you know, at the time when I was listening to this, that song resonated with me. Round and round the conversation goes, shut up. Just want to tell people to shut up. So that was speaking to me at the time. On the Run is good. On Your Own. Yeah. I don't really like the last song, More Than Life Itself. It's just not a very good ballad. It's kind of cheesy and just but there is a bonus track if you just sort of let that one play out. It's her cover of Papa Don't Preach by Madonna, which was kind of pushed as the single. I'm surprised it wasn't actually on there because it was released as a single, as its own thing, and I thought it was going to be on the album, and then I found, oh, it's a bonus track. It's like a hidden track. Like, oh, okay, I guess it's better than nothing. But, yeah. Kelly Osbourne's cool. I like Ozzy's kids. Jack is cool. Some great interviews with Jack. I mean, he was a record producer. He was like an A&R guy or something. He was signing a lot of bands. He was probably one of the youngest A&R dudes at the time. So yeah, hey, he's cool. Jack is cool. He did that great show with Ozzy, with Jack and Ozzy's adventures where they go around doing stuff. That was a great show. And yeah, I dig Kelly. I dig Kelly Osbourne. So that's a cool album. All right, how about Vince Neil, Exposed? Yeah, a lot of people, I know, I've said this, I did my Motley Crue album ranking, and I said, I've never been a huge fan of the John Corabi Motley Crue album. I don't dislike it. But, I mean, yeah, say what you will about Vince Neil, he's not a very good singer. Yeah, I know, especially live, he's absolutely terrible. But, it's just something about the energy he brought to the band. That's it just, he's kind of like the voice of Motley Crue. I mean, I know, yeah, whatever. But this album came out at the same time as the self-titled Motley Crue album with John Corabi, their new start, and here's Vince Neil kind of showing them, hey, this is how it's done. It's almost a little like David Lee Roth leaving Van Halen, putting together this group. And Vince Neil got his virtuoso guitar player in Steve Stevens. Steve Stevens of Billy Idol's band, a fluff flying around. I mean, this is his showcase. I mean, yeah, he's a great guitar player on the Billy Idol stuff, but his playing on here, whoa, insane. It was the best part of this album. The Look in Her Eyes, kicking it off, great tune. I actually wrote a screenplay around this time when I was in my first year of college. For comedy writing, and I don't know, I wrote a script called The Look in Her Eyes. It was awful. It's lost media. I don't think I can have it anymore. But I know it's awful. The Edge, wow. It starts with a kind of this flamenco kind of opening on an acoustic guitar. Then it gets really heavy with, oh, it's insane. That song's amazing. Set Me Free. You're Invited but Your Friend Can't Come. That was used in the movie Encino Man. Yeah, used over the end credits. And Pauly Shore is in the music video. Yeah. I mean, kind of, you know, the last sort of horror. I mean, hair metal's already dead when this came out. This is 1993. Although Encino Man was 1992, there's a lot of heavy metal and stuff in there. So hair metal is like hanging on by a thread. But this is definitely, wow, great album. Vince Neil Exposed. If you've never heard this, put what you think about Vince Neil. Just put that out of your head. Going with like, this is all, it's like, hey, okay, like David Lee Roth, Eat 'Em and Smile, and Skyscraper and those records. Think of it like that. It's like totally something different. Don't compare it to Motley Crue. And just like, wow, Steve Stevens. How about Jerry Cantrell, Degradation Trip? I remember getting this big Alice in Chains fan. And this is like an Alice in Chains album. A lot of Jerry Cantrell solo albums are kind of like Alice in Chains records. Actually, it says this record is dedicated to Lane Staley because he just had passed away. This is 2002. Great tunes on here. Psychotic Break, Bargain Basement, Howard Hughes I always really like. Anger Rising. Give It a Name. She Was My Girl. Spider Bite got a great riff. Yeah. And the band on this is really cool. Recognize these guys as Mike Borden from Faith No More and Robert Trujillo, currently in Metallica. By the time this was the Ozzy Osbourne band. Like when Ozzy Osbourne did the Prince of Darkness set, there was that cover CD which then became the Undercover covers album. And this is the band. It's this band. It's Jerry Cantrell, Mike Borden, and Robert Trujillo, which is really cool. So yeah, they did more together, and they worked with Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, great, really underrated record. If you're an Alice in Chains fan, I mean, I think this is like an essential if you're into Alice in Chains. Now here's a band that I just recently got back into. The Motels. Great new wave band. Yeah, I just found this. So I'll give it. Just check this out because I did really like the Motels, but I just kind of forgot a lot of it. So this is their albums All for One and Little Robbers. Yeah, this is a great band. I completely forgot how great they were as a new wave band. Martha Davis, the lead singer, there she is, looking pretty cool. Yeah. Mission of Mercy, great. Take the L, that was a big song. Take the L out of Lover, and It's Over. Only the Lonely, which is a hit for them. Not a cover of the Roy Orbison classic. Change My Mind, So L.A. Yeah. Actually, I think my favorite of this is Little Robbers. It's my favorite Motels record. Suddenly Last Summer, that was a massive hit at the time. Kind of forgotten. But that was a big song. That was a big hit, Suddenly Last Summer. But my favorite Motels tune, Remember the Nights. I've just been obsessed with that song. Something about it is hitting me in the right places right now. Stuff that are going on. And I think that song's always going to just like, wow. It just, I don't know, something with that song is hitting me in, yeah, like I said, in the right places. I need that song in my life. And yeah. Remember the Nights. Because I like just remember kind of the little things, you know? Whatever's going on, that song just makes me feel like whatever's going on, just remember the nights. Remember the good thing. Remember the things that you can remember. Just, love that song. Love that song. Yeah, the title track, Little Roberts, is great. Motels. Really got back into the Motels. And they're just one of those bands I kind of slept on for a while. I mean, I really liked the hits, Suddenly Last Summer, and Take the L, and Only the Lonely. But, it's going back and listening to these full albums, it's just like, wow, this is a great band. So there you go. All right, closing out here, this is one I said I would dig this one out one of these days.
One of these days.
Yeah, I've been saying it for a while, and I dug it out. The Music Machine. Turn On the Music Machine, featuring Talk Talk. Yeah. I did the Alice Cooper 80s album ranking and talked about this record. And also when I've talked about my favorite new wave albums, every time I mentioned Flush the Fashion, because he does that cover of the song Talk Talk, I just said I would have to dig this album out because I know I have it somewhere. Well, I went and found it. I blew my stack looking for it because it's just kind of buried. But yeah, this is really cool. This is like an early kind of like proto-new wave, proto-punk album, you could call this. It says, congratulations, you have just purchased a most unique machine. Have I? It has 5 moving parts but uses no oil. Does it now? But yeah, I mean, Talk Talk was really their song. A lot of cover tunes. They do a cover of Taxman by George Harrison. The Beatles, written by George Harrison. They do CC Rider, which was the Elvis Presley intro song. That's how I know it. That was Elvis Presley came out to that song. 96 Tears by Question Mark and the Mysterians, which was also another, it's like proto-punk band. Or proto-new wave, I guess you could call them. But, I mean, yeah, it's these garage bands. They also do Hey Joe, Jimi Hendrix. But yeah, the Music Machine, it's like so totally forgotten. They even tell you how to operate the record as if you're a moron. Operating instructions: remove wax disc from jacket. Place on turntable and adjust treble, bass, and volume. Turn on. Caution, keep away from the old at heart. Because, you know, you don't want grandma to jump out of her chair, I guess. Yeah. That's what it is. They're having fun with it. But yeah, totally forgotten. The Music Machine. I dug it out. I had to go find it. So there you go. Some forgotten gems, some forgotten albums that I was able to find. Maybe you're already a fan of some of these. But even if you're not and you've been turned on to something new, that's cool as well. But whatever, I hope you enjoyed this. That's it for this week. Until we meet again, this is Brett Strong saying good journey.